entering the studios of Creative Conversations with Dr. C. You are entering the studios of Creative Conversations with Dr. C.
Welcome to the conversation.
Welcome, my beautiful people. Welcome to another edition of Creative Conversations with Dr. C. I am Dr. C. Guys, I am super excited. We're back on this page talking again about these love letters. This is a conversation that I want everybody to be a part of. Tonight, we have some wonderful, some beautiful sisters talking about their love letters and what made them want to be a part of this new book. I tell you, I have had the opportunity to speak to some wonderful people over these last few weeks, and tonight's conversation is no different. I am super excited to bring on two beautiful women. The first one is Phyllis Whitley. I had the opportunity to meet this beautiful soul last year at in Houston, and I'm telling you, she is a wonderful person to talk to. I've learned quite a bit from her, and I am equally excited to hear what she has to say tonight about her love letter. And then we have my sister from another mother, Miss Shenitha Finesse, who is the CEO of She Publishing. Another conversation with my beautiful sister, and I'm telling you, she is now in the second edition of this book. Well, it's the third edition, but this is her second time around, and I'm telling you, I cannot wait to hear what she has to say and see the evolution of her story from last year to this year. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on my beautiful sister, Miss Phyllis Whitley, so she can tell us about her love letter.
Hi.
Well, hello, how are you?
I am blessed. How are you doing?
I am doing absolutely fabulous. I was telling the audience a little while ago that I met you in Houston last year, and we have had such a beautiful ride together. I've been on your podcast, you've been on my podcast, and the last time we spoke, we talked about this anthology. And look at God, He is bringing it to fruition, and it will be out this month. So I am so excited to talk to you about your love letter. I tell you, when I read it, I had to read it a few more times, and I was like, good God Almighty, this is some good stuff. Some good stuff. And I'm just equally excited for you to tell the audience a little bit about yourself, and then we'll start talking about your love letter. And I'm hoping that you have a little piece of it, because I want you to read a little of it, just a little bit, just a sneak peek. And I want you to read it because it's your love letter. Just a sneak peek, enough for people to be like, ooh, I got to hear the end of that. So I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to let you tell the audience just a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go into the conversation of your love letter and your reasons for wanting to be a part of this anthology.
Yes, but first, let me start it up with my daughter is going to have to give me because I'm on a different computer. Priscilla.
Okay.
So when I hear her, forgive me, on a different computer, because I don't know how to pull it up, and I don't need to go ahead with technology and mess everything up. But we'll definitely.
If you cannot find it, I have it. You know, I'm always prepared.
Excellent. I didn't even, because I definitely, if you're going to have me read something later on, because that'll give me time to go ahead and get it.
Okay, that's fine. We can just talk a little bit. You don't have to read it now, but we can just talk about the conversation about your reasonings for wanting to be a part of the anthology. I know we talked about it on my podcast the last time, and I guess I surprised you. I think it was a good surprise that I asked you to be a part of this conversation. So when we talked about it, we were talking about just life in general, and how things evolve, and just being able to be in a position where we're able to give back, and understanding what our purpose is. And so at that moment, I was like, you know what? We came together at a big event, a Houston event, and it was just like as if I had known you forever, and we just got to sparked up this conversation, and then here we are now, what, almost close to like 7-8 months later, that
Yes.
we're still speaking, and we're still talking about the different things that are going on in both our lives, right? But can you just tell the audience just a little bit about you, because I already know that you're an author and you're a phenomenal author. So tell the audience a little bit about what you are doing as an author, and then we'll go into the love letter.
Well, first of all, I wanted to say thank you, and I call you Dr. Yvette. You never know what, because we share the same middle name.
Middle name. Yes,
But
ma'am.
thank you for having me here. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your blessing. Your
Thank you.
second blessing, because I do believe you said before that this is the second love letter.
This is
So
the actual, yeah, the first one was just solely my love letter, and then this
Okay.
is the second and the third one. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I am honored that you even let me have a little piece of it in the book. So I look forward to it actually coming out. And we have to talk because I think I need you to come over to my podcast so we can introduce it. But we both are very busy ladies. So to tell
Yeah.
you a little bit about me, my name is Phyllis Whitley. I am the founder and president of Self Whisper LLC. Also, I have a nonprofit organization called Whisper Vise. And what I do, I am a relationship consultant. And I have a podcast called Whisper Unplug. And that's about self-mastery. So I do a little bit of everything. And I'm coming out on the scene of social media because I'm in that generation where I want to hide. So that is why I met Yvette, Dr. Yvette, down in Houston, because I was trying to broaden my horizon, make myself seen. And then she gave me this opportunity, I do believe, because when we came together, we clicked. And her world was similar to my world. So the letter itself, because I do poetry, I do a little bit of poetry in each of my book. She gave me the opportunity, and I said, what could I possibly do? How can I sum up my whole life without making it my book? And I said, well, let me go into poetry, because I seen her last book and somebody had a poem in there. And I said, can I go ahead and do this? And she said, sure. And it really was simple, because I feel like anything that is if God is behind it, he'll just make it effortless. And
Yes.
it took me probably less than a couple hours to put it together. And so,
Wow.
I put it together because I didn't want to tell it all, but I told just enough. And
Just enough.
that's what I like about, sometimes instead of doing something in a paragraph form, a summary, I said, let me go ahead and put it in a poem, because it literally told a little bit of everything. And it will also open up a conversation on another book. Because I
Yes.
don't discuss that side. But you know what? It was pulled out.
Yeah. And I will tell you, just the opening of your poetry, that right there is just a conversation to have. I'm like, wow. Oh, okay. Like, and it talks about the big thing that I want people to take away from these books is that it's about self-affirmation. It's about self-loving ourselves. We all have a story to tell. We all have some things that we are trying to unpack, unmask, take down those layers of that onion and peel it back and get to the core of things that are happening with us. In
Yes.
this book, there's so many people that are on different in different lanes or at different junctures in their lives. Some people are going through some trauma. Some people are coming out of trauma. So everybody has a different piece and a different spin on why they wrote their love letter. But I will tell you, Miss Phyllis, when I read, I was like, all right, is this a song? Let me go ahead and get. Let me. I was like, yes.
A song, huh?
I was like, okay, I'm loving it. And so when you asked me about doing the part of being just poetry, last year we had Mark, who you saw in the last book. He wrote a poetry, and so when you said, can I do it? Yes, definitely. I want you all to be able to have the freedom to write what's in your heart. We want to put it out there because somebody else might be going through this. And like I said, the first line got me, and I was like, okay, let me go ahead and figure this one out. Let me go ahead and get to the meat and the potatoes of this one, because this right here is some good stuff. And for you to say that this is you dib and dabble in poetry, no, this is mastery. This is some good stuff. And I was like, okay, I
I
like
appreciate
I
that.
said, in the last every time I read the poetry or just the love letters to it allows me to open up and see different versions of people. And that's what you want to be able to speak to everybody, if not everybody, but somebody who's walking that path. And so this what you brought to the table was beautiful,
Thank
beautiful. So other than that, I just wanted to express my gratitude again for not just you, Miss Phyllis, but all the other authors that are in this book, just being able to be vulnerable, to be able to, a lot of these people that are in here are not authors. They're their first time. And I'm like, just put pen to paper. I don't care how you do it, just do it. I want you to speak your truth on these papers, on this paper, and let it be felt. Because again, the last one that we did went global. Matter of fact, the one prior to this, I just found out that it was in somebody purchased it in Australia. So
Mhm.
it's still, and it's been a year, so it's still hitting people around the world. And I have no doubt that this book is going to do the same.
Excellent.
So without further ado, if you have a little bit of pieces of that, if not, we'll continue the conversation until you're able to, or if not, I can read a little bit of it. But so what's actually, can you tell us just a little bit of, before you're able to read it, what sparked this particular poem? What spoke to you and said, this is what I'm going to present in this book?
Good question. And Dr. Yvette, basically what happened is I wanted to go into the main parts of my life that I remember. A lot of people do not remember, or they will hide or bury. This is where my company is based on Self Whisper, is the things that you can't see.
Mhm.
So this book gave me a chance to practice what I preach. So it really was like you saying, can I have your whispers? And
Oh, wow.
that's what I did. I gave you the whispers in this particular page. And I wanted to go to moments in my life that I remember. Like I said, some people is so, their life is so traumatizing that they forget, or they just can't, it triggers something bad.
Mhm.
But I went through each pain point, and it was flowing through to the bottom, that really was saying there's no more pain. And
Yes.
although in this particular my poem I was targeting remember, because I was asking myself, and I said yes I do, and yes I do, yes I do. But at the end of the day, even though each part was a part of my life where I was hurt,
Mhm.
at the end of the day, it was only really, really one person standing. Of course, my daughter physically, but spiritually, it was God.
Yes. And what I will tell you, Miss Phyllis, is that when I read your poem, it spoke to me because I was able to say, do you remember? Do you remember when you
Wow.
were here? Do you remember when you sat in that room crying? Do you remember when you were trying to figure out, do I belong in this world? do I remember this, and and it allowed me to really dig deep into the core of who I was, because it allowed me to understand that sometimes, even though the traumatic parts of our being is traumatic, we have to still remember in order for us to move on. Because if we're caught up into that cycle of not wanting to heal, then we won't heal. So your poem allowed me to really remember those pieces of those things that I had buried so far down that I didn't want to remember. But I had to realize, in order for me to grow, in order for me to move to the next level, I had to dig a little bit deeper. So it allowed me to remember. So thank you for that. And I'm hoping that those who are able to read that will be
Thank
able to
you.
hear that same message, that I remember. And guess what? In remembering, I am now standing because of me remembering. Does that mean that I'm going to go back? Now I'm
Wow.
going to try to stay on the path to move forward. So I thank you for putting that into your poem, because I had to remember. And when I read it, it allowed me to put a little bit more spin into my love letter to myself. Even though I've in the 3 years I see the evolution, but I really saw it when I was able to read your story, read your
Wow.
poem.
I
And
appreciate that.
it felt like I was walking in the same lane as you, in different eras, but still walking the same walk and feeling the same pain. So I thank you for that, because we want people to take away from this book that they're not by themselves, that
Yeah,
they are not by themselves. There are people still out here that are going through it, and they just need to know that they're not by themselves. So I thank you for
exactly.
this. I thank you for allowing me to dig a little bit deeper in the core of who I am. And I tell people, the doctor came far a while back, but for me, being that little girl
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to be this woman now, with
Yeah.
all these responsibilities and all the stuff that's happening, I had to remember. So thank you for that. Those words hit home. Do you remember?
You are
Yes.
so welcome.
So
Mhm.
thank you for that. I truly appreciate that. And I'm, like I said, I'm hoping that somebody will take that same message that I took from it, and be able to move to the next level in their lives. So, with that being said, do you want to read just a little of it, or did you want me to? Because I like hearing people in their own voice. This is your baby.
Yeah, but you would have to. I have to go get it, and
Okay,
then
so let me read it then. Let me read
yeah.
it.
And so
You
you
don't
go
mind?
ahead.
You want
Oh,
me?
sure.
Okay.
But you're not going to read
Okay.
the whole thing, right?
No,
You
no,
just go.
no. I can't do that. Then nobody's gonna buy the book.
Exactly. You can go ahead and read it, and then I can share with you with that. Really, I can break it down for you
Okay.
exactly.
So I'll read maybe the first six stanzas of it.
Ah,
So it
the first one.
the
That's
first maybe.
that's a touchy one. You want to go
So
with
you want me
more?
to go in
What
the
I was.
middle? You want me to go in the middle?
Yeah, go because I
Okay,
was young.
I'll go in the middle. I'll go in the middle. How about if I start where it says the whispers of rejection? That's too
Yeah,
painful.
that's good.
Okay. So the title of this is called Whispers Reflections. The whispers of rejections, doors shut, family crossing streets to silence my name. The schoolyard taunts, laughter, and masking wounds, seeking refuge in families only to be met with indifference. And when my older sister banished me, replacing love with lies, while I moved from state to state, searching for the family I never knew.
Yes.
So, explain just a little bit.
I can go back and say that a lot of Black American people are still suffering from slavery mentality, and we just bring it to the next generation.
Yes.
So even though I love my family, it's dysfunctional because here I stand with no support, but I respect them where they at. I cannot go back and say, well, I could. You did this, and then so as he says, she said, and that's where the state. I had to leave.
Mhm.
And I moved, and I had some family members say, "Oh, you like a gypsy, moving from place to place." But I was in search. At the time, I didn't know what I was in search for, but I was in search of a family. I was in search of love. And that's where you go and find love in the wrong places. But on my search, I was stopped with an illness. And I'm thankful that my family literally stopped what they was doing and said, "Hey, I'm on board." And they contacted me every day. But the sad part of it is when everything was fine and I wasn't dead, everybody went on with their life. So I know a lot of people can relate to that. Do I Am I angry? I was angry enough that I shut out love. And I feel I short circuit my daughter and how the opportunity of me and her father being together forever. I short circuit many relationships. So with that being said, the rejection hurts. I can feel it. But at the same time, I speak to every woman out there. God got a plan.
Yes,
If
he
it
does.
wasn't for those rejections, which I encourage you when you do get the book, then you'll understand. We are speaking in parables right now, like Jesus.
Yes, we are.
And so don't get mad at us, but that's the purpose of opening the book. And when you get
Yes.
into the paragraphs, the pages that she have from other people, I'm pretty sure it's going to be beautiful and heartfelt. But when you are dealing with someone who writes poems, it is a riddle, it is parable. They're not going to tell you everything. So she kind of opened up a door for me to go ahead and continue because I would not talk about never. But I do want to say to those who are hurt and they still feel rejected, a lot of times you have to go into the lion's den in order for you to come out and write a book about the lion's den.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Preach, my sister. Yes, and that's the thing about it is trauma will allow you to see versions of yourself that you probably would have never seen. Never. So when you say rejection, rejection can be either a good thing or a bad thing. It could be in between, or it might not be. But we want people to understand wherever you are, we're here to support because it's a story in this book for everybody. For everybody. When I say everybody, everybody. And I tell you, I cannot thank you enough for opening up your heart to allow people to see who you are
Hmm.
and see where you're standing at now,
Yes.
right? And
Yeah.
be able to say, hey, I'm the first one to say that my life ain't been peaches and creams. None of us has, right? No, I mean, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. But guess what? Those life lessons that I had to go through have brought me to this point in my life.
Yeah.
And so when I read your poem, it allows me to see snippets of where you were and where you are now. And it's a beautiful thing, my sister. It's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
So I
Thank you.
just hope and pray that those who are out here listening to this will pick up the book. I promise you, when I first started the first love letter to myself, I saw the evolution and I see the evolution every time I write a book. Every time I write these anthologies, I see how much I have grown. And I always tell people, if you're not growing, you sitting still. You never want to be stagnant. You want to always be moving forward,
Never.
always allowing yourself not to let grass grow up under your feet. So I thank you, Miss Phyllis. From the bottom of my heart for even just taking on the exceptions of saying, yes, I am going to, just a little piece of my life I'm going to put on these pages, opening up the door, as we said last night, turning the pages of the secrets within these books and
Mm.
seeing what's in them. And when we open them up, we get this phenomenal gift of life. This is life that we're talking about in these pages. So I thank you so, so much for just saying yes to my invitation. And I always say, this is not my last one, because this is, if I'm going to keep doing this and keep doing this and keep doing this until I'm able to touch, if not only one person, but enough people so that they can have the want to write, write for themselves. Because most of these people that are in this book, they're not authors. They're not. And
Right.
so we have to take, again, meet people where they are. And so if this is my platform to meet people where they are, then this is what I'm going to keep on doing, because I want people to have a voice. Because we're losing too many people just for no reason. They just want to be heard. And so I'm hoping that this will help people be able to know that I'm here. If you know Miss Phyllis, and they want to write a little snippet in the book, pass your information on to her. I will contact you. We will get it started. But I thank you. But we're coming to the end of your piece of it. So
Yes.
before we leave, do you want to share anything with the audience just before we move to our next guest?
Oh, well, basically, I want to thank you on behalf of everyone in the book. And I want to thank you for allowing us to say yes. And the only thing that I want to say to everybody out there, especially the females or even the men that's going through something, is good to be a part of somebody like Dr. Yvette, who is saying, I'm going to give you a platform, even if you don't have one. So that's why I encourage people to learn from her. And I'm going to learn from her because I am going to set up something where I am thinking about doing an anthology. She put it in my head. Well, somebody else put it in my head. But I got so many other things on the stove. I'm not going to probably do that right now. But the reason why I am saying that this book is a life changer, because I'm already an author. But if I think what she said earlier, if you are not a author, it can open the doors for tomorrow. And that's what I liked about the offer that she gave me to come forth and share your whispers. And I just wanted to tell everybody, don't take this lying down, to go ahead and get your hands on this book. Look at this book, and I am so sure you're going to find you in a part of the book, and then be thankful, connect with her, because if I didn't connect with her, I wouldn't even be in this book. So sometimes the people you don't, or the people you're looking for, the divine connection, is sometime in places that you really don't know. Because I met her in Houston, and I don't live in Houston. I'm up here in Chicago. So,
But we got a connection there too, right?
and so the divine connection can come. You just don't know.
We
So
just
I'm
don't
just
know.
thankful, because look what she did. And I'm pretty sure this is going to go farther than we all think that it's going to go farther. So she deserved a lot of appreciation, a lot of celebration. And I'm pretty sure that God got her number.
Oh
So
yeah,
thank you.
he has my number. He's had my number for a long time, and guess what? I'm on speed dial with my father. On speed dial, on speed dial. And
Oh,
so I thank you. I promise you, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm hoping that your words of wisdom has hit somebody's ears to know that again, I'm here to support. And I just want to make sure people know that they're not by themselves. We're losing so many precious beings because they don't feel like they're being heard. So I'm hoping that again with this book and with the authors and what they put into this book, that we can touch many more people around the world. I just really feel that this is the time for this to happen. And so I thank you, Miss Phyllis, for again saying yes to the invitation. And don't be alarmed if I come back a year and say, "Hey, I'm ready for book 4." You ready?
well, don't be surprised if I come after you. because I got
All right.
something for you. Yes, I do. And hopefully we'll be talking to each other very, very soon.
We will. And again, thank you so much. You have a
Thank you.
wonderful, wonderful rest of your evening, and we will talk soon.
Thank you.
All right, darling.
Shanita. What is this? Shanita. Yes.
Shanita. Yes, ma'am. Well, that was a beautiful conversation with Miss Phyllis Whitley. I just adore her. Again, as she said, divine intervention. We met in Houston, and again, our connection go past Houston because she's in Chicago, and I am a native from Chicago. So there is another connection. So God knew exactly where to point me when I was in Houston. So I thank her for those kind words. And again, the invitation is open to anybody connected to Miss Phyllis or any author in this book who want to put pen to paper in the next anthology. But without further ado, we have our next guest that's coming on, Miss Shenitha Finesse. Miss Shenitha Finesse is the CEO of She Publishing. She is my sister from another mother, and I love her to life. So without further ado, we're going to bring her on so she can talk about her love letter. Well, hello, my beautiful sister. How are you?
Hey, I am good, and you?
I am good. It feels like I just saw you yesterday.
No, we did, because we just partying
We just be
like
partying.
none other,
Like, no. Hey, somebody got to do it, right? Somebody
And
got to do it.
yeah, but you know what? I really want to say this before we begin. First of all, it's always an honor to be on Creative Conversations. And in listening to your last interview, the divine connection piece, I wanted to touch on
Yes, ma'am.
because it was a divine connection with us as well.
Yes.
And so just me being in a fire drill, and I know, and I've said this, and I said it yesterday too, being in a fire drill and then meeting you, and you're in North Carolina and I'm in Chicago, and I don't even live in Chicago anymore. But just talking to you over the phone, it was just this click.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm just seeing. And it has to do with you and your personality and all that you bring. So I am blessed to be connected to my sister.
Oh, I say the same thing to you. I'm a crier, so don't make me cry tonight. But I do say that God puts people in places, as Miss Phyllis says, when we're not even expecting it. That divine connection that we had was due to my best friend Aloja Hatley
Yes.
put us together, and so 3 years later, we're still doing this thing. So I thank you for the phenomenal ride that we have had, and the continuous ride that we're going to continue to have. And I'm just equally grateful. Like I said to Miss Phyllis, I am so grateful that so many people have decided to jump on this love letter. This is a movement for me. This love letter chronicles is a
Yes.
movement for me. And I said it the other day that this is the best time. This is the right time to be able to put pen to paper in this economy, in this just this world today. We need to understand what love is. I remember the first time
Mhm.
we talked, because you were in the last book. And I remember asking you, remember when I asked you, I said, have you ever thought about doing a love letter to you? And you looked at me and you like, what did you say?
Yeah, I said I had never thought of writing a love letter to myself because we're
Mm.
so used to writing love letters to everyone. We might not even write letters no more. It might be love emails now.
I
But
think it is.
yeah, love
I
text
love
messages.
text. Text,
But
yes, yes.
yeah, but we don't do that. Like Shartia Love Jones, she's another author on our roster, and she does these classes, these sessions. And one
Mm-hmm.
of her questions is, who do you love? And
Mm-hmm.
everybody say everybody else, but
Yes.
nobody says me. I love me.
Mm-hmm.
So to have the opportunity to write a love letter in not only the last book, but now this book has been a true blessing. And what I will say is the love letters that I have had the opportunity to write, those love letters are in the moment. So my love letters are not about the past or anything. So I'm able to pick up the other book and see where was I in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
In this particular book, it was a completely different moment in
Mm,
my life. The letters that I wrote were totally different, but one thing that remained the same was my faith,
mm-hmm.
you know?
Yes.
So I'm gonna be able to grab that book and this book and see where I was
Mm-hmm.
in those particular moments and be able to grow from them and be able to see that I'm surely glad my faith remained the same,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
that's the big part of it. That's what I want people to take away from this movement, that this is exercise for you to be able to see where you were a year ago and see the evolution in your journey. And like I said with Miss Phyllis, everybody's in a different piece or a part of a journey for themselves. They're not all the same. We have people that are starting in and just recovering from trauma, or they're in the midst of trauma, or they're coming out of trauma, or they just came out and going back into trauma. So it's different versions of it, but the bottom line of what I want people to take away from it is to be able to pick up that book from last year and look
Yeah,
at where you have come from last year and this year. It's almost a full year. It's a little over a year, but it allows you to see where you have come. And so, like I said before, a lot of the people that are in this book are not all authors. They're not. They're regular people, and we all are regular people. We just got the title of saying we're authors, okay?
and
But we're
they're
still
authors now.
they are authors now. You're right. But when they started out, they were just people just writing their feelings down on paper. But at the end, as we look at the full scope and the full picture of it, it's really saying to yourself, do I really love myself? Where am I at in this love piece for myself? Where do I feel? Do I feel good enough to be able to stand in the mirror now to say, you know what, I liked myself a year ago, but today, I might love myself. But it's a
Yeah,
wonderful exercise. And the good thing about this book, it allows you to write your own love letter. It gives a little bit of pieces of what trauma is, what healing is. It gives a whole gamut of things about how to start that process of writing that letter. So,
yeah.
as I said before, in the first couple of podcasts, as we talk about love letters, I've asked that question to a lot of people, and as you said, Shenitha, a lot of people. The first thing that says, "Well, yeah, I wrote it to my husband, I wrote it to my kids, I wrote it to
Um,
whoever, but it's never about them." And so we need to get back to the place where we are saying we love ourselves every day, and affirmations is one of those pieces that brings a full circle of really saying, affirming who I am. And that's really affirming, but also loving myself in the same breath. So um I saw the evolution and the moments in your first writing.
mhm.
And like I said before, every time I'm able to read these beautiful collaborations, these beautiful letters, these beautiful poems,
Mhm.
it gives me a different view of the
Yes,
person. You know what I'm saying? We are so quick. We're always on the go, constantly on the go, on the go, on the go. And it never feels like it's ever ending, right? But when I get the opportunity to sit down and read these, I mean, it brings tears to my eyes. And if I can say to you, my sister, I'm seeing the evolution in who you are, and seeing um the vulnerability in you, in your
yeah,
writing. And that's the most beautiful piece of it, being able to really dig deep. I keep saying it, digging deep into the core of who we are. You
yeah. It's
know,
almost like therapy.
it is.
It is
Yeah.
a form of therapy because you're getting it off of your chest, you're getting it out, and you're feeling better, hopefully,
Hmm.
about it. Because I will tell you, I feel like I was in a better place in the last letter. and I was not in one of those situations. Like, you know how you say you either um going into a situation, coming out of a situation,
Mhm.
or I
Yes.
don't know, maybe not in there. And that first letter, it was no challenges happening really at that moment.
Mhm.
And I won't say it was no challenges, because every day could throw
Mhm.
you some challenging moments.
Right.
Um, but here, this one, this was the doozy one.
Yes.
Okay.
It was.
Like, I'm in the midst of a whole situation, and I could see that the tone is different.
It
And,
is.
listening to Phyllis and some of the others and hearing that they wrote in poetry form. I'm not a poetry person, but I'm like, man, if I have the opportunity, I just might try. It's
Yes.
like we're inspiring each other to do these different things. And
Yes.
I can't wait to get the book, because the last book I was able to read other people's story, and it was so inspirational, so motivating. It was like an eye opener, and it keeps you humbled.
Mhm. It does. It really does. I mean, it's to the point where you like I was saying to Miss Phyllis in her poetry, the ability to say, "Do you remember?" Yes, I
Man.
remember. And so it allowed me, I had something in my head of what I wanted to write. But then when I read hers and I said, you know what? Scrap that. I gotta go back and remember.
Yes.
And it took a it brought me to a place where I had to really step back and take a deep breath, cleansing breath,
Mhm.
several times to really put it out there. But then when I got to the point where I said, yes, I remember, the words
Yes.
just flowed. They just flowed. They just hit the paper and I was like, I'm done. And it knew when to put the period at the end and said I was done. And so these letters, they do this for you. It's therapeutic. It
Oh,
really
yeah.
is therapeutic. So as you said, I see the evolution in your writings from last year and
Mm.
this year. There was some I felt like there was some challenges in there and everything that's going on. I said it the other day. I'm not going to get on my soapbox about what we're going through, but I'm
Yeah.
hoping that these letters will allow people to have that cushion for themselves, to be able to read other people's stories and again not feeling like they're by themselves. So I want you to, if to just tell the audience just a little bit about this piece and maybe reading just a little of it. I don't want you to read the whole thing because I want people to be able to go out and purchase the book. But the ultimate goal is to reach somebody to teach them something.
Yeah. I'm gonna read a little segment. It's
Yeah,
kind of like,
yeah,
yeah, and then I'll just kind of elaborate a little
yes.
bit,
Please do.
hopefully.
Please do.
Yeah. But so the mid part, it says, "Dear world, I may not know all of you, but it feels as though we are collectively facing trials that test our hearts and our spirits. We have seen disasters that rip through our homes and lives lost to events that may or may not be due to our own decisions. We have witnessed pain, heartbreak, and fear, and we have stood at the edge of uncertainty, wondering how to heal. Some of whom have made permanent decisions based on temporary situations. Yet, even amid chaos, there remains something beautiful. There remains the resilience of the human spirit, the strength that rises from the ashes, and the quiet love that persists in the most unlikely of places." And for me, it's like in the midst of the storm, I still see that light at the end of the tunnel. I still remember his promise. I still can envision that rainbow in the midst of the storm. And sometimes it's those quiet places that we need to just stop, think, rejuvenate. As Phyllis says, self care. that kind of thing in the midst of unlikely places, and maybe even in the midst of unlikely people that you don't realize it was meant for me to meet you, or it was meant for me to read your story, because now my outlook has changed. Now
Mhm.
my vantage point has changed.
Mhm.
So it's, even in the midst of the storm, know that we are growing through whatever it is,
Mhm.
and you're going to be able to help somebody.
Yeah. I love that, growing through. Growing through. I love that because, again, as I said to Miss Phyllis, if you're stagnant, you're not growing. And we want to make sure that we're moving in a way that allows us to grow. But through growing, we got to be able to nourish that plant, that 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 lawn, that tree. So
Yeah.
how do we do that? How do we start doing that for ourselves? And I think it's through writing. We talk
Yeah.
about this all the time. Writing is a form of therapy. Writing is a form of leaving legacy for your
Yeah.
family. So nobody can ever think that they knew you or thought, you have it in word form. And
Yeah.
so I I think these letters, this chronicle, this movement is a must. We have to be able to reach back, pass the baton. Sometime along the way in that race that we're running, somebody's going to fall off. Our job is to be able to stop and go back and help them.
Oh yeah, for sure. Did you see that it was a social media, um I saw it, I don't know where I saw it at, but it was a couple boys racing,
Hmm.
and one boy fell and his shoe came off.
Okay,
And
yeah,
so
I
the
did
other
see
boy,
that.
did you see that?
I saw that.
And
I
the
did
other
see that.
boy, like, kept running, then he was almost to that finish line, and
And
he,
he
like,
turned
was
around.
like,
Yes,
and then he turned around to help that person,
yes,
and they
yes.
won together. Like, they're
They
like,
won
"Sometimes
together.
you have to lose to win."
I
And I
love that.
mean, I love that.
Yeah. I
It's
just
okay.
think,
Yeah.
man, I think that this conversation is going to be a conversation that is never going to end. Because we have to remember love is what allows us to be able to move to again to the next level. It's
Mhm.
so much hatred out here today. Um,
And it's a lot of love.
and I was about to say, but there's a lot of love, and I'm hoping that these love letters will surpass people to understand that there's more good in the world than there is bad. But those
Yeah.
people that are angry, who are looking for love, they still need to be heard too. They're working through pain too. And so they just need to know that they're loved as well too. So if we're able to pass the baton, like I've said before, pass it. Because guess what? It's easier for me to tell you I love you than for me to say I hate you. We couldn't even say that word in our house, and I still don't
Yes.
like that word in my house. So
Mm-mm.
it's easier for me to tell you I love you. I love you in the place that you are. We're here to grow and ensure that you get what you need. And I said with Royce, who was the first guest on the Love Letter Talks, I
Yes.
told him, I said, therapy, baby, therapy is everything. Back in the day, when you heard the word therapy, the first thing people said was, "You something wrong with you."
You lonely.
You
Something's going on.
Yeah, something's going on. But
Mhm.
no, there is something going on, and I want people to understand that it is something going on, and I need some help with this. And so, in order to embrace therapy, you have to work it. You have to be a part of it. And so,
Yeah.
um, these letters, I'm hoping and praying, will hit in a way that, again, it becomes a movement. And I feel like it is a movement. Like the first week of the last book, it went global. And so, as I said to Miss Phyllis, I just saw not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, that somebody purchased it in Australia, and it's been over a year now. So
Beautiful.
people are still,
Congratulations.
thank you. No, congratulations to
To,
everybody that
to
was
us,
in the
right?
book. Yes.
Yeah.
And so we're still touching people. We are still relevant. And I want us to continue to stay relevant in this game. Want people to know that this is not a facade. This is something that I am very passionate about, that I want people to understand that we have to continue this movement. We can't stop. We're in the midst of a storm, as you said. But in the
Mhm.
midst of the storm, we still have love for each other. And that's the
Yeah.
end result. We want to make sure that people know that that's still the core of what we're doing, that it's about love.
When
So
you brought up Royce, I just want to
uh-huh. Yeah,
talk
yeah, yeah.
about when you brought up Royce. So in this particular letter, I was in a different place. It was a lot of different things happening.
Mm-hmm.
And even though like your faith may remain, you're still human. You still
Yes.
cry, you still, and one of the reasons why we have the platform that we have and we are sister companies and we have a literary family is because when I was in the midst of that storm that is still kind of remnants of it right now, I have to tell you that I got a text message every single day from a different person. And some of those people included the people in our family, in our literary family. And one of those people were Royce and his wife. And one
Mhm.
of the things Royce said to me was, and I'm sure like Pamela Coleman,
Mhm.
this came from the because he I believe maybe he's in one of her books too, but he told me in text, "It's okay not to be okay." And I was like, "And I am not okay." And it was just great to hear that from our family. It was just
Mhm.
great to get that support in the midst of situations happening. And I think that is the reason why you keep your faith is because of these people who you surround yourself with.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to create your own circle. You have to create your own table, your
Yes.
own family. And this
Yes.
is what we've done at Allure Publishing, She Publishing, Inspire. We're creating our own family that we can support. You know,
Mhm.
when Aloja is whatever, like we like, hey, you good? You
Mhm.
good? You know, we reaching out to you, y'all reaching out to me, like we're
Mhm.
being of support. And sometimes when you don't have that, you have to be intentional and create it for yourself.
So, I agree. I agree. I totally agree with that. And I think what allows us in this time and in this space is the ability to understand that family is not always blood.
I'm telling you.
And so when we understand that logic and understand when you say you have to create your own lane and create your own space, create your own table, that means that sometimes we have to go outside of our technically family to be able to get that. Is that okay? It sure is, because that's
Yes.
additional support that you would probably normally would not have if you didn't have a good home base, right? And so as
Yes.
you said, we have no problems with when I don't hear from you of, hey, what's going on, are you good? And so as I said, I see the evolution in your writings and what you have brought to the table with this. And again, everybody's in a different space when they
Yeah.
write, and it's okay because it allows you to release all of that bottled up energy and being able to put it somewhere, right? And so, even with Royce, even with Mark, even with Pam, so many people that are in this book, being able to reach out to them and say, hey, like, your words on this paper have made me cry. And I
Yeah.
thank you. I thank you for allowing me to be able to take your words, and you trust me enough with your words that I'm able to read them and take something from it, and take something that's good, because I might not have seen it for myself if I didn't read it in your writings. So I thank everybody that is in this book. I thank everybody who said yes, because I in my core, in my spirit, I feel like this book and every other book preceding this is going to make a change, in so many different lives, so many different people, so many
Yes.
young people, so many older people. I keep telling people we're still in the midst of COVID. We still have people that are still bottled up, still at home, still have not had any engagement with other family members. So I'm hoping that this book will get in the hands of the people that need it, and that they take something away from it. I'm not going to cry tonight, because this
Mhm.
book is so means so much,
It
and I'm
does.
praying that it hits the right people at the right time, because we are going through so much. We don't know if we're coming or going in this world today. And today is the time that we need to band together. We have to put down whatever that is and band together in love. Because if we don't, we don't, I don't know where we're gonna be at. But as long as I have breath in my body and able to move, I'm going to continue to keep these going, because I think it's a must. It's no other way. It's no other way that we can't I don't have any, I don't even have the words for it. I just know that we need to continue to do this. And
And
so
you've created this. You've created this platform for us to do it. So I want to celebrate you. This is what and I strategically wanted to be on today, May 1st, to wish you a happy birthday month,
thank you.
because it is the birthday month. And I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to switch it, y'all, but let me know when I can promote some things or say some things. I
You
can go
can.
now.
You
So
can.
I just want you guys to know that Calinthia, Dr. C, she is always supporting, making a way for us to share our stories and be a part of this movement. And there's so many great things that are going on. And number one, it's her birthday month. So we got to say happy birthday. Number two, she released a book, Unmasked. This is book 4. And I got to tell y'all, this woman works day, night, and I'm truly blessed to be, her sister. And we may not be blood sisters, but that's my sister, y'all. Okay. And this book is actually one of the first books that we're reading for our book club. Confessions of a Publisher has been turned into a book club. And so this is the book that we're reading. So I want to give it up for my sister, and I want to say purchase this book between this week and next week, because we are going to read this and see her heart. In addition to the love letter book coming out this month, I believe May
Yeah.
21st. So
Yes.
we going to pick that book up as
I'm gonna
well.
put that up. I'm gonna make sure I put the book up. I didn't get a chance to do it with Miss Phyllis, but I
Can
will
we
show the
see
book,
it?
and I will show you guys the book. Again, I told you, don't be making me cry. I don't do accolades very well. I'm not the one that do well with like I said the other day, my joy is seeing other people happy. And so it's really never about me. It's about this platform, whether it be Allure, whether it be Confessions of a Publisher, whether it be Creative Conversations with Dr. C. It's really not about me. It's really about the people that God has put me in their midst to be able to showcase them, to celebrate them. It's never about me. And I thank you. I'm a crybaby, but I thank you. But it's really never about me. It's really about you and sister companies and the people that we serve every day
Yeah.
on our platforms, the people that have given me their permissions to allow the world to see their writings. And the things that we're doing with Confessions of a Publisher, turning it into a book club, allowing us again to showcase them. It's not about us, it's really about them. And so at the end of the day, thank you for the accolades, and thank you for celebrating me, but it's really, I'm celebrating God for him to be
Oh,
able to put me
absolutely.
here in this space each and every week to showcase the talents that he has given to other people. So I thank you wholeheartedly. So I'm going to show the book in between me and you. So that is
Yeah,
the book.
that's beautiful.
So
Beautiful.
I really want people to really go out and buy this book. This is book 3, book 4, 5, 6, whatever, how far I can go with this, I am going to do it. I want people to. I'm going to show the actual flyer, and it should be able to see the authors in this book as well.
Oh,
Um,
that is beautiful.
So I really want you all to take the time to invest in this and see the souls and the hearts of these beautiful authors in this book. Again, they have allowed me to take their babies and put it into a book form to give it to the world. So please take the opportunity to go out and purchase these books. And for the ladies tonight, I thank you so much. I thank you for allowing me to be the proctor, the administrator to these words, and giving it to the world. Because again, we're in a place right now where it's uncertain. We don't know where we're going to be at, and so I'm hoping that this positivity, these love letters, these things that are being written, that somebody, that we're sharing it with somebody, and that it will make a difference in somebody. So I thank you, Miss Shenitha Finesse, for joining me, as well as I'm going to bring Miss Phyllis back on just to say good night to her, to let her know. Thank you. Hold on, Miss Phyllis, I'm going to bring you back in. I want to tell you both.
Stand by.
Um, thank you so much. I just want to, before I get off this line, I just want to tell you, I want to give you honor and kudos and thanking you yet again for taking the opportunity to put pen to paper. Without you, this could not exist. So I thank you, ladies. I thank you, queens, because you are queens. And I thank you for all that you continue to do and being prosperous in whatever projects that God has put in your hands, that it will flourish and that the world will be able to see your heart from wherever you're standing. So I just thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this anthology, this love letter, this movement that we must have. Without this, I don't know where we will be, but I know we're in a better place with these words from you ladies. So I thank you so much. And before I get off this line, as I always say, please check on the people that you think are strong, because our
Yeah.
strong people do need to know that they are loved, that they do exist, that they need to be engaged, that they know that they have a piece of the pie to sit at the table with us all, that they are a part of this world for a reason. But through these letters that you all have given us, we know that we're going to touch many, many people. So I thank you, ladies. I thank you for all that you continue to do, and that you continue to be prosperous, and that the blessings will continue to flow each and every day. So without further ado, I'm going to say good night to my beautiful people out there. Please, please go out and purchase the book. It is going to be released March 21st on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, all those good places. Please go out and purchase them. Give them to somebody that you know needs them. And if you know anybody that's out that needs to want to put pen to paper, if you know Miss Shenitha Finesse or Miss Phyllis, please reach out to them, because there is another one coming. There is another one coming. There's another one coming. So I thank you, my beautiful queens. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your evening and an upcoming Friday, because Friday is the second and Taurus season is in. So I thank you, my ladies. Good night until next time.
Dr. C,
Hmm.
your book is, you need to change the date of your book. Is going to be released in not March.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry, May. Excuse me, May 21st. I'm sorry, I'm so behind. But yes, ma'am. Thank you, Miss Phyllis. Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you. So again, good night, my people. Love you.
Bye bye.